My name is Andrea and I go by the Andrea Life. I'm a big girl in a big world trying to figure it out. And guess what? We doing it brick by brick. And today we are building our financial brick. Yes, honey, we about to start cash stuffing. And if you're interested in that, please stay tuned. I'll be right back. Y'all, I'm so nervous to do this video. Every time it's time for me to do content, I don't know how many different videos I've filmed in the last year that I've cut, edited, and then didn't upload. It's so crazy. Why is it so much of a task for me to get started and getting my life in order? Like, what's wrong with getting your life in order? Aside from the fact that you probably likely be in front of millions of people that you'll ever meet if my video ever makes it out there into the stratosphere of content creationisms. But it's still just a lot. But I'm so nervous, so let me calm down. I just wanted to say that. So thank you so much for joining my channel. Excuse me, let me not be too hasty. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, my name is Andrea and this is my first video and this is my first try at cash stuffing. Now, quick cash stuffing 101. One thing you're going to know about cash stuffing, there's two different types of expenses that I'm aware of just yet. There's variable expenses and there's a such thing as sinking funds. Variable expenses, by definition of Google AI, is an irregular daily or monthly cost such as groceries, gasoline, that vary in amount, whereas a sinking fund is a proactive, planned saving strategy for specific future known expenses like vacations, annual insurance, holiday shopping. Now, for my cash stuffing, I'm going to have a variable fund folder cash stuffing binder, and she's cheetah round, or is this leopard? Whoever, she's round. And I have another binder that is going to be labeled floating funds, because baby, we not sinking our ship, we floating to the top. So now let's get started. So for our variable expenses, because you are very able to do this, let's get started with our first variable pouch, which is spending. Now, if you, and I'm actually going to insert a quick video just so you guys can see the denominations. For spending is going to get a cool $20. Now, I know you're thinking, girl, start off small. Don't sit there and just think you're going to be cutesy with $20. The way I am right now, what I'm trying to do this whole quarter, I'm on a bit of a spending hiatus because I did a little too much. And I'm trying to rein that in and find something that works best for me. So right now I have a list of like honeydew wish list things that I'd like to get eventually. But those are not important. That's what I'm trying to do with my expenses, is differentiate what I need versus what I want. So that's our first pouch, spending. My second pouch is gasolina. Dame my gasolina. Gasoline is going to get $60. And why 60 is because I just procured, that's another SAT word, a second job. Last time I spoke to you guys, I think I had one job I just started, likely, I can't remember what I don't know when the last time I uploaded a video because I'm so scary. But I have a new job and it's a second job. I'm currently staying at home with my mama, but all of my expenses are going to be a little bit exaggerated or bloated when it relates to gas because I'm not near anything. I live far away from everything. So gasoline is going to get 60. The price of gas when this very video drops is kind of high. So that's where we are right now. Gasolina. Our next expense is going to be groceries. Now, with groceries, you guys see that? With groceries, it's a little funny because you would think, oh girl, you look like you know how to cook. Yes, baby, I'm big, beautiful, and in the building, but can't cook worth nothing. I can eat though. So what we're going to do with groceries, eventually, it's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow. It might be Friday. Let's see how life plays out. But I'm going to go grocery shopping with this 50 and I'm getting a couple of a couple of frugal items for me to be able to start meal prepping. We're going to start off with 50 because maybe the only thing I know how to really make is like just add water pasta and avocado toast. That's all I got. You can eat good off of that, but we'll go from there. The next expense I have is cloth. Now, as you guys can see, I'm a lady of a nice, brisk, but cute manicure. But what I want to do with claws is, instead of me trying to pull that from my spending money and feeling that I'm depriving myself, I want claws to have its own pouch, because that is a part of my self-care. Getting my nails done is important to me. And with that, I want to make sure that every 2 weeks, if it doesn't happen 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, I'm getting a fill, and I'm due for one. I'm actually a week past time to get one done. So claws will be getting $30 a week until I can find an expense time frame that makes sense for me. So 20 and 30 is going into claws. The next pouch that I have is called, we call it the eat out, but we're going to call it a cheat meal. And we'll talk about that in a different video. Realistically, I eat out basically every day. I don't cook. I do not cook. This is another reason why I'm doing this, is because I need to rein this in. I need to get a handle on this. And most of your expenses, if you don't cook, that adds up. DoorDash, eating out, it doesn't necessarily always have to be unhealthy, but just that in itself is an expense. So we're going to rein that in. Oh gosh, I have to breathe in whenever I say this. We got a 20 for eat out. We're going to call that cheat meal. Hey, cheat meal. So cheat meal is getting a cutesy $20. Now the cheat meal hopefully will be done on the weekend, and I can do different videos because I have a whole weight loss journey that I have. That's not what this kind of video is for, but we'll talk about that more. Buffer is the last variable expense that I have, but we're going to leave that empty. And basically whatever I don't get to fill with the other various envelopes will likely go in buffer, because if there's ever a moment where I need to pull from one of the pouches, I don't want to, if it's the word embezzle, another SAT word, we'll look it up later. I don't want to embezzle from the wrong fund and then put myself in a situation where there's a deficit the next or following week whenever it's time for me to stuff. That's what we don't want to do. So buffer, you see the little buff arm? Buffer's going to be empty until I'm finished filling out the appropriate funds. And that's the variable expenses. All right. So moving on, our next expenses is, like I said, the floating funds. Floating funds. Now with floating funds, we have a couple of different categories. Firstly, we have pretty wheels. Now, I just got my whip done where I got it detailed. Why am I fighting to say that word? I got my car detailed by an awesome guy named Dean. He only charged me $50. Baby, just much like Myra from Martin, you had to go to work on my car. But a baby girl got it done, and Dean did a really good job. But what I want, if there's ever a time frame where I don't necessarily want to spend $50, because that can add up after a while. If I just want to go do a quick little vacuum or run it through one of those just add water car washes, I want to have a little bit of a fund for that. So for the allocation for the Pretty Wheels fund, Pretty Wheels is getting $10. So now we got the 2 5s, and we're going to put it in for Pretty Wheels. The next fund that we have listed for our floating funds, I got to get used to train myself from saying sinking, because like I said, the ship is floating, is Sammy. Now Sammy is not a child of mine, but he acts like he's everybody's child. That is our family dog. I stay with my mama. My mom allowed me to stay here for the last year and a half, and I don't have any younger siblings. I am the youngest. My nieces and nephews are grown, but most of them are. But with Sammy, Sammy requires food and care, and I would like to have a little fund set aside because she asked me to buy food, I want to say a couple of weeks ago. And why I'm even telling the story is just much like the other fund that I was speaking of. I didn't have an allocation for that, so it threw me off. I was ready to spend whatever money I had for spending on something else. And there's nothing wrong. Sammy's food is not specifically expensive. Yeah, the bag is a little expensive for the portion that you're getting, but it kind of threw me off. I'm like, gosh, I wanted to spend this for this. And I felt some type of way, not towards my mom, but I'm like, goodness, I'm not prepared. So for Sammy, because mom asked me from time to time to get little Sammy something, I'm going to put a cool 5 for Big Sam. And he's a long-haired dachshund. I might insert a picture if I find a cute picture of him. And we're going to put that in that. So now our next fund is going to be gifts. Now, I'm not the best gift giver, But one thing about gifts, I'm never ever prepared to get somebody a gift. I'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, next month so and so's birthday. Oh yeah, next month is this holiday. This is Mother's Day. Blah blah blah. I'm never ever ready. And once again, I find myself dueling and battling if I want to spend my spending money or do this, and I'm just never prepared. So for gifts, gifts is getting a cool 20 just as well. And I don't know if we're gonna stuff that weekly because I don't know too many people. Right now, I'm in a lonely season, and I actually prefer it that way right now. A lot of healing, a lot of things going on with my life, and there's nothing wrong with it. But with that, if there's ever anybody in my family, maybe something going on at my job, I want to be able to have an allocated fund for that. Next, goodness, I have so many funds. Next, after that, with the funds that I'm actually going to be stuffing right now, is going to be my main fund. I'm almost finished, y'all. I'm doing so good. My main fund. Now, you might think, why do you need, and actually, I need 15, I actually need change, dang it, because I would like to allocate about 15 a week for that, but that's fine. We'll just start it off with 20 because I clearly didn't get enough denominations for everything. But with the main fund, as you guys can see, baby girl got a lot of hair. And I can do my hair, but I'm trying to get on the healthiest journey possible. Last goodness, 2018, March was the last month that I actually put the creamy crack in my hair, and since then, I've not touched any kind of chemical that manipulated the texture of my hair. And it's important to me, which is a part of self-care, which is a part of the season that we're in, is to pour into myself. And much like I've said before with the other funds, I've always been conflicted on, should I do spending, should I do this? I've had no kind of financial discipline when it's come to my money because I've been here over a year. Not to throw myself under the bus, but this is a channel about transparency. I've been here over a year. I should be able to see more of the fruits of my labor. I had a pretty decent savings going, and a big chunk of it, yeah, needless to say, we're trying to get disciplined. So I'd like to get my hair done quarterly, and if I save maybe 15 a week for my hair to get trimmed, and for because I'm on a length retention journey, that's about 150 for the actual service. And to get it trimmed is an additional 25 because that's the star of the show, is a trim, because I know how to do my hair at home. So with that being said, 15 a week is where we're at. So we'll get the ball rolling with 20 because I didn't get enough. Now, you might be saying, girl, that's all you stuffing? Not necessarily all as in the envelopes, because we've gone through a lot of envelopes. But as you can see, I do have some friends back here that might need some attention. Just to give, oh wait, there's one more. Oh goodness, there's one more. I completely forgot about the most important, which is going to be, ooh, yes, the most important envelope, which is general savings. Now, I have a separate envelope that I will eventually make to separate general savings, but for right now, the only thing that I'm focused on is having a savings for a bank account and a savings for a particular debt that I have to and I want to pay off. That will be a literal load off of my shoulders. Now, this debt, it's knocking on a few thousand. And this is why that debt is going to be getting a cool 400. So, now, I would love to have broken down and maybe not get a couple of hundreds, maybe a few 50s next time. But this debt is going to be getting 400 because it's not just so much the amount, but it's a sense of urgency with this debt that I'm very interested in getting paid off in a quicker fashion. Later on, oh goodness, I'm sorry, I'm going to put 300 in that. Now, we'll put 300 in general savings, which is going to go to the debt, and I'm going to put 100 in the emergency fund, which will eventually turn into regular savings. Will eventually turn into general savings. General savings will be what I'm putting in towards a sinking fund just for me to have savings. And then eventually once these envelopes change and transition as my life changes, I will have a fund specifically for, say it with me girls and boys, a home. I would love to have my own home. There's a couple of sinking funds that I'm interested in, but most importantly, I just want to be realistic, and those are the things that are pressing to me right now. So I appreciate it so much for everyone paying attention as long as you have and being engaged with me with this. This is a really, really, really big deal for me because I want to learn about financial literacy. I want to learn about something called a Roth IRA. I don't know who Roth and IRA are. They sound like great people and I want to get to know them. I also have, oh goodness, all over the place. I have about $6, $7 left that I want to spend. And I can't believe my camera's getting too dark. It's okay. I have a spending challenge that I want to start using that's on our road to $1,000. So what I'll do, I'll put about $3 in here and I'll put 4 in the buffer because my camera's about to die and I don't want to cut it and then have to come back and close the camera, close this out. But guys, thank you so much for engaging with me and watching this video from through and through. It'll be more organized. It'll be more polished as I go along. That's the kind of stuff that was bothering me because to me, if it's not polished and organized, I shouldn't start. But that's life. Life is not polished. Life is not organized. Sometimes life is messy. Sometimes you have to restart. But it's important that you start and just keep going. And you build your life brick by brick. And we'll talk about this more later on. But thank you so much for watching my first video on cash stuffing. You guys have a great evening.